10 minutes ago.
Me too. I'm with the sea venom.
I'm feeding Ashley, so. Hi, Chelsea.
Daddy duties.
Yes. Daddy for the baby and daddy for the dog. So.
Let me turn this down so the echo won't be in my headset. And I'm good now.
You want to go in your house? You want to go in your house?
With my palette. We got the YouTube up, so Jason won't cuss us out, right?
Yes, I have the YouTube up and Facebook. Yep.
Okay, cool. We don't need Jason attacking us tonight.
I know, yeah. Manually putting it in halfway through
the
show. Could have just left it alone and just said, hey, first day that Travis was on the boards, he forgot one thing. It happens, right?
That's right. What's up, Tom? What's going on?
Hey, Tom. Just the two of us today, so
we're a little short-handed today, but that's all right.
Short-handed, but that's okay.
Hey, still gonna have some fun. All right, so that's fine. That's pulled up, so I know what the heck I'm talking about. Oh, Josh Gordon, okay. Really?
We're trying. He said you can do it.
We got this.
Yep.
It's not my first rodeo.
You doing okay, Rico? I saw your post on Facebook. We're thinking about you.
All right.
We'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes, and then 8:05 is when we're gonna.
All right, cool.
She's gonna fuss. And there's too much stimulation here. Right.
Then let me.
Wait. Look at the camera, sweetie. Hello. Hello.
Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Oh gosh, I look like heck.
There we go.
Bye. Where's the camera? Irvin, say bye. Bye.
First week, we're not gonna call her by coach's given name.
No, we are not. Name. I hate it.
Every week, we can tell by the look of your face.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Geraldine.
No, you wasn't supposed to mention it.
You know, it's supposed to name Gerald, right?
Yeah, I know, but Geraldine's a cute little name. Ooh.
You wasn't supposed to mention it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
What name?
This is the first week we wasn't going to say it.
Ashley.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, little cutie.
Yeah.
All right.
Who do you have? Red Sox or Yankees? We'll do this right before we start, since the game's about to start like right now.
As much as I hate them, I'm going Yankees.
I'm going to go Yankees as well. Home game, I think they're just a better team. I will go Yankees. If we have time, we're going to try and talk Major League Baseball playoffs. Maybe get some predictions. We'll see.
We can
I'll probably make sure we make time for this. So.
We can do it.
I like talking about the playoffs. We never talk about baseball on this show. I'd talk about it if it was up to me, but most times it's not up to me. So
Exactly.
Today, it's up to me. We're going to talk about baseball. So, I don't know. If it were up to me, we talk about soccer. But, I kind of get yelled at when that happens. So,
Listen, I don't mind it. They mind it.
I know it's not you. Yeah, it's everybody else. Oh, they're
Even
playing
though-
in Boston. I'm still taking the Yankees. Doesn't matter.
Even though my soccer team is going through some things.
Yeah, no. So's Atlanta, though. It's not like we're doing any better. So, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I know. So, okay. How about the music intro?
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and Jay, they coming through. Straight no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we're done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey, yo, let's get it poppin'.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
What's up? What's happening, everybody?
Today is Tuesday, October the 5th, 2021. We are here, straight from the hip. We got Big Irv and myself, just the two of us today. Everyone else abandoned us, but we're still here for the people. We're here for the people, okay? So, people, everybody, if you have comments, questions, please type them in, because we probably have extra time today to talk about them. So, we are people, men of the people today, okay? So, but we will start out. First off, Irv, how are you today? Sorry.
I'm great. I'm doing well. I'm here.
Doing well, good? Awesome. I'm doing well too. Ashley's doing good. She just made her little appearance right before we started. Hope everyone saw that.
That's right. Gave the stream about 7 more likes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Hey, all about those likes and those more people watch, the higher our ratings go, or something like that, whatever it's called. Anyway, how about we start with the NFL?
Let's do it.
Do it? Okay. I think if we're going to start with the NFL, we have to start with the biggest game ever, apparently, right? At least that's what the 4-letter word was saying.
Yeah. Oh, Tom, come on, Tom.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that, Tom. I'm not going to answer that because that's not her name. So maybe if you get her name right, I will answer that question. But we are going to start with the biggest game of all time, apparently. Tampa Bay beats the New England Patriots.
Yes.
I enjoyed the game. I watched almost every play of the game. I was invested in it. I was glad it was on Sunday night at not, 4 o'clock on CBS or something like that, or Fox, when I may or may not have gotten it. I was glad that everyone could watch that. That was a very good choice for the NFL.
Yes.
My question is, Tom Brady, of course, is the quarterback of the Bucs, playing against his old team. He's had a number of important games in his NFL lifetime, NFL career, whatever you want to say. How big was this game to Tom Brady and his legacy in his NFL career? Was it nothing more than just another regular season game? Go ahead, Irv.
Me personally, it was just another regular season game. I mean, the biggest draw was the fact that it was the team that he's been playing for 20 years. So, of course, they're going to make a big spectacle out of it. But another big thing that everybody started bringing up was the fact that it wasn't just a quarterback versus quarterback battle. It was Tom Brady versus Belichick's defense.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, if you really want to say, Belichick's defense didn't do bad.
No. Not at all.
But it's the way that Tampa has been rolling this season, giving up scoring 20, 30, 40 points every week to only have what did they have? At 19?
Something like that, 19, 20, 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah, for me, I think New England won the game even though they lost, based on the fact that everybody expected Tampa Bay to just run them over. And for Mac Jones, kudos, brother. You had an amazing game. It's just the fact that you just didn't put up as many points as Tampa did.
Yep.
And if they'd have made that kick later in the game, who knows what would have happened.
Agreed. I agree. I thought going into the game, this was going to be a 40-10 score. That this was going to be by the third quarter. People were going to be tuning out. Brady was going to have 4 touchdowns and 350 yards passing. I did not think this was going to be a close game, an entertaining game. It was everything and more. I was impressed with the Patriots in terms of, especially their defense, how well they played. They gave up yards, but they made stops when it needed to happen. And that's, if you're an NFL team, at the end of the day, giving up points is more important than giving up yards. So they kept it close. I was impressed with Mac Jones. He showed me that he's a quality, NFL quarterback. He's still got some learning to do, right? He's a rookie.
Obviously.
I think they got something in him. I think a few years down the line, once New England reloads, I hate to say, but they look like they could be, 2 or 3 years from now, they may be the best team in the AFC East. I don't think Miami's doing anything anytime soon. We know the Jets aren't. Sorry. Zach Wilson's a good player, but the Jets are the Jets. I think it's going to come down to the Bills and the Patriots every single year. And, the Bills have a lot of good players, but they're going to have to start paying some of those players pretty soon. They're going to lose a few of them. So the Patriots are just a few years away from reclaiming that crowd. Mac Jones showed me a lot. That defense is real. That defense knows what they're doing. And under Bill Belichick, he's going to create a good game plan. Every single week. I was pleasantly surprised with the Patriots. Not that I'm a Patriots fan or anything.
Not at all.
I want to see the Patriots do good, but
these are facts.
With Bill being the head coach, I think they're going to be in contention for years to come.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because this year New England spent all their money, so which means next year they're going to have some room to do some damage depending on how the salary cap goes up. And for all we know, they might not spend a dime and get better. While the Bills, they got to start figuring out what they want to do, because a lot of the big guys, the Poyers, the Whites, the Diggs, the Allens, they already got paid, but you got a lot of those other guys who are coming up. So we'll see.
Yep, you got 2 quality running backs in Singletary and Moss. One of those is going to have to be paid, and the other one's going to have to walk.
Yeah, it's probably going to be
which one you pick. I would pick Moss, but he can't stay healthy. So
exactly.
I don't know. And they got a lot of, like you said, a lot of good defensive players. So their window is right now, absolutely, and has been for the last year or two. It's definitely wide open now, but in a year or two, I'm not really sure. So next up, the Arizona Cardinals beat the Los Angeles. I almost said St. Louis. Los Angeles Rams.
I thought about
it. Arizona just keeps on winning. Kyler Murray in that offense, man. When you're putting up 35 or 40 a game, it's going to be hard to beat. Are they the best team in the NFL right now? Are they number one in your power rankings? And are they number one for you?
I mean, I kind of said it before the season started. That's
why I'm giving you the floor. Absolutely. You called Arizona.
If Kyler Murray was healthy last year, I think they would have continued that winning that they had at the beginning of the year. And to add a guy like AJ Green, who's a top tier wideout, who just was injury prone the last couple of years, and I think it was faking last year. a guy like J.J. Watt, who has been Defensive Player of the Year before, and then you got the guys like Chandler Jones, who's going berserk because he wants money. You got Hassan Reddick, who's playing out of his mind. Buda Baker's playing out of his mind. Like, I mean, not Hassan Reddick, Isaiah Simmons. Sorry. The Cardinals are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
They're going to be a real problem. And if James Conner ever figures out the fact that he's a better full-time runner instead of a goal line runner, then that's just another aspect. But the Cardinals are they look too good right now. And I kind of figured that, and I'll admit it was a guess, but I was just going off of how I was thinking last year before Kyler hurt his shoulder. The Cardinals are going to be a problem. I'm looking at their schedule. I don't know where their first loss is going to come.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the schedule pulled up in front of me. But if you do, I'd like to run through their schedule real quick. But I will like to say I was on the show a year ago and said, watch out for the Cardinals. I actually picked the Cardinals to win the NFC West last year. I was a year off. And anyone that watched this show remembers I was real high on the Cardinals last year. And I said, I like the Cardinals. And Jay and I talked about that too. So Jay, this is true. I was just 1 year off, but boy, do they have some talent. Their 1-2 punch of AJ Green and Hopkins is legit. And then with Christian Kirk and Rondell Moore playing the slot receiver, you may be able to cover one of those guys, but you can't cover both. And if you're doing man-to-man, Kyler Murray will run all over you because there's no one fast enough on the defense that can cover, can run down Kyler Murray. So they have a great offensive plan. I'm still not sold on their defense, but if their offense is putting up this many points, I don't think it's going to matter. They may be the Kansas City Chiefs of the NFC. And I think that's probably what they're going for with Cliff Kingsbury. Not to say they don't have talent with their defense, but I'm not sure that their defense is, all top 10 right now. But it doesn't need to be if that off with the amount of points that offense is and can manage.
Yeah.
They better hope Kyler Murray stays healthy though, because that offense completely runs through him. The second if he gets injured,
it's a wrap.
It's done. It's done. I don't even know who the backup is, but it's done because they run everything through him, and they would win 2 or 3 games with a backup quarterback, and that's it. They would be toast.
So just running off the next 4 games.
Yep.
They got San Francisco. Who knows if Trey Lance is going to start? I know Garoppolo is out. Cleveland. That could be a good game.
Is that home or away?
It's at Cleveland.
That'll be tricky because they got to go West Coast to East Coast, and
it's a late game though.
Yeah, but still, they got to go West Coast to East Coast, and Cleveland is that team that will get up for a big game like Arizona because they'll think it's a statement game for themselves as well because Cleveland thinks they're right there too. That'll be a good game. I could see them losing to Cleveland. I think that's about 50-50.
And could you imagine Garrett and Clowney chasing Murray around the field? That's going to be fun.
Exactly.
And then you got Houston.
Watt trying to chase Baker Mayfield. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then you got Houston the following week.
40-point win.
Then Green Bay on Thursday night.
Wow.
That could be interesting.
That could be interesting too. That's going to come down to how well Aaron Rodgers playing at that point because that team's. I know they've won 3 games in a row now, but I think they're a good team, but they're not there yet. Like they're not top echelon yet to me.
Yeah.
So
that's just the next 4. Everything after that is mostly repeat games, like San Francisco again, and then they got the NFC West. But it's outside of. No, I take that back. The Cleveland and the Green Bay games. So those 2 should be very interesting the next 4 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they split those. I'll give them 1-1. I don't know. I'm going to say they're going to lose to Cleveland.
Yeah,
I'll say lose to Cleveland, beat Green Bay.
yeah. I would be okay with that, and then it'll still be up top the power ranking because there's going to be a lot of one-loss teams that's going to get some losses before that comes around.
Absolutely. Speaking of Green Bay just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jerry walking, cane throwing Big Ben Roethlisberger, who needs to sit his bum on a couch. A year or two ago. Right? What's going on with Pittsburgh? Can they turn this around, or are they just this is just going to be, for whatever reason, the year that they just finally have a bad year and they're just going to be bottom dwellers in the AFC North? Because that's what I think is going to happen.
The funny thing is, I think it's long overdue, and I hate to say that. Sorry, brother. Rest in peace. Steelers fan all day. But for a team to not be under 500 for this long, it's almost unheard of. Like, you got to have 1 year. Like, even the Patriots had 1 year when Brady was hurt. But I hate to put this on Tomlin because I like the guy a whole lot. He's from this area, but I think this might be that 1 year that the Steelers just have to accept the fact they're not going to be above 500.
Yeah. I agree. I think they've waited. I think most people already know, right, that and we've talked about it on this show, along with lots of other shows. They waited on Big Ben at least a year too late, right? He should not be playing this year.
Yeah.
They have, especially offensively, injuries have really hurt them. Chase Claypool has played about 2 games this year. He's missed the last 2 games. He's a good wide receiver that is a big dude that is, just throw it up to him and he's going to come down with it. And they don't have that guy right now. You got to but I think he may be dealing with some type of injury as well. So they're relying on a rookie running back, which I think everyone likes coming out of college in Najee Harris. But again, it's a rookie running back. And most rookie running backs, one, don't survive the season.
No.
And 2, I don't care that he played at Alabama in the SEC. Like, I don't think he's going to survive the season. And 2, most rookie running backs aren't very productive in their first year. Yeah, there's some exceptions to the rule. I understand that. But for the most part, they, it's their second year that they have good years. So I think they were going to rely too much on Najee Harris. And I think they're figuring out that, not that he's a bad player, but he's just a rookie. And it's just difficult. And I think their offensive line has gotten old as well as Big Ben. And this is just one of those years that they're going to be 6 wins, I think. Because I know they still got to play Cleveland twice.
Yeah.
They still got to play Baltimore twice.
Yeah.
I know they still got to play the Bengals at least one more time, and that's going to be at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We just beat them in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. Let alone the fact that they still have to play the NFC North. So yeah, Detroit, they stink too. But the Vikings aren't terrible. They could lose that game to the Vikings, right?
Yeah. I
could see them losing to Chicago because that defensive line is going to give Ben no time.
Right.
So, and then the AFC wise, they'll line up with.
So this week they might have a chance because they play Denver.
Ooh.
And Teddy's not playing.
I was just about to say, I don't think so, but with no Teddy, they may actually have a chance.
Yeah.
They may have a chance. Yeah, they may because that Denver's offense is terrible. They didn't do anything this past week.
It's bad.
Teddy. It's really bad. Drew Lock is a bad quarterback.
Yeah,
he's a bottom 5 quarterback that that actually plays.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their schedule right now. It's kind of brutal.
Oh yeah,
it's brutal.
They have a playoff schedule because they were a playoff team last year.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I know they play the AFC South, don't they?
They play. Yep, Tennessee, Kansas City. Kansas City's the West. Tennessee. Well, they mostly played because they played Buffalo, they played Vegas. See, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Denver. So they got the AFC West actually.
Oh, AFC West. Okay, I should know that since I'm a Bengals fan. I just had a brain fart, but
Yeah, because I see Chargers, I see Chiefs. Yeah, they got the West and then Vegas.
I got the West. Well, then they're definitely not beating Kansas City. I don't see them beating the Chargers, and Oakland's really good too. So, which they've already lost to Oakland this year. They're going to be a 5 or 6 win team this year.
Yeah, it's ugly. Which will set them up for a new quarterback.
That absolutely is true. The problem is how many good quarterbacks are coming out of this draft?
None.
Not a lot right now. But we'll see.
Yeah. So that if that answers your question, Mr. Butler, who are they grooming?
Yeah,
Good
nobody right now. Nobody.
Because
So,
it ain't Dwayne Haskins. I'll tell you that.
no, it is not Dwayne Haskins. So, hey, can everyone hear me okay? I'm getting told that no one can hear me. So if no one can hear me, let me know. If you can, just say yes in the comments, please.
Interesting. Well, they were commenting off of what you were saying, so I think they can hear you.
Okay. Next up, Dallas pummels. I'm not gonna say pummels, but beats the Carolina Panthers pretty well. Carolina made it a game in the fourth quarter. How real is the Dallas Cowboys?
I'll just say this, and I'm tired of saying this every single season. When they get to the meat of the schedule, they will fall.
Okay.
Everybody is pushing this win, and I work with too many Cowboy fans. They're pushing this win as a quality win versus an undefeated team. But when you look at the Panthers' schedule,
and that was going to be my next question: how legit are the Panthers actually?
When they play before this weekend was over, thank you Jets. They played against somebody they played against teams that had no wins.
I know.
I mean, how legit can you be with that? Like, I like Sam Darnold, I like DJ Moore, I like Christian McCaffrey, but let's be real. Like, you played nobody.
Christian's gone for a month right now, so.
And he's out. Yeah, so we'll really see what the Panthers are made of without Christian McCaffrey, since they threw pretty much everything on Teddy Bridgewater for how their outcome was last year, with no McCaffrey for the entire year. So we'll see if Sam Darnold is the real deal. Okay. But as far as this game and how real the Cowboys are, like, we'll see around week 10 and 11 when they get into that meet, when they got to play all the NFC East teams back to back, and all those rivalry games get real hype and real ugly. And I think they got the Cardinals mixed in with one of those games. So
probably do.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. I think they're a good team. I picked them on the show a few weeks ago when we did pick the division. I picked Dallas. Okay. I think they're a good team. I really do. I really like their offense. I think their defense is young and it is talented and is an up and coming defense. So that's why I went with Dallas, right? I love Zeke. I've always liked Zeke as a running back. He's consistent, right? The offensive line is typically pretty good. If Dak Prescott can stay healthy, he's 350 yards and 3 touchdowns waiting to happen almost every single game. And they probably have the best wide receiving core in the league, flat out, right? So they got the weapons offensively. They're going to put up points, and I think their defense is going to be better and has been better typically the last few years. And I think this year they were going to make a nice step. So that's why I picked Dallas. I think they are for real. I think they're going to win the division. I don't know how far they go into the playoffs. I think their ceiling for the playoffs is matchup based. I think their playoffs is very, very, very matchup based.
Yes.
But would it shock me if they made the Super Bowl? It really wouldn't, because their offense can put up a lot of points. I know that hurts you as a Washington fan, but they're going to be able to put up points. I'm not saying they're going to, right? Again, it's all matchup based, I think, in the playoffs, but I don't see the Giants doing anything. I'm sorry, but I watched a lot of that Washington-Atlanta game. I'm not convinced on Washington. We'll get to that game later. And the Eagles, I think the Eagles are probably the second best team. I think they're a talented team, but they're not as talented as Dallas. So I'm going to go with Dallas in that division. So I think they're going to win that division. I think they win it by 2 or 3 games. I really do. I think the Eagles are about an 8-18, and I think it's the second best team in that division.
Yeah, and I know I joked about it saying that I had Washington winning, but schedule-wise, like Dallas has no reason with a third-place schedule losing this division this year.
Absolutely.
So if they lose this division this year, I don't want to hear one word from another Cowboy fan ever again about how amazing this team is.
Right.
Period. Because once they get to the meat of the schedule, when they got to play Kansas City, Vegas, the Saints, and then they start that NFC East gauntlet, there better be at least 3 or 4 games past everybody else.
All right.
Because those are easy losses to have. Like the Dallas-Washington rivalry has been going back and forth for the last few years. Giants always split every season with Dallas for some odd reason. Then you got the Cardinals mixed in there, and then to end up with Philly, unless Philly decides they want to do the same thing they did with Washington last year, I mean, the door is there for Dallas to win the division.
Absolutely. So that's why I picked them. I was never as high as most people are on Washington this year. No. I just didn't see it. And I think Dallas is the team of the East this year.
Like I was joking, but with Washington and that schedule that they literally play a Pro Bowl quarterback every week from here out, except for New Orleans. Like that's insane.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Danny Dimes, not the Giants.
And the Giants.
The Giants and the Eagles. I'm sorry. I'm talking about non-conference. I'm sorry. Yeah, just check. Yeah. But that's ridiculous. When the schedule came out and I saw that Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, like you're playing all these quarterbacks that nobody in the East are going to see.
Yep.
Like, good luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Next up, Seattle beats the 49ers. Should Trey Lance be starting for the 49ers?
I kind of didn't like what I saw at the beginning, but at this point, with Jimmy Garoppolo still winning as their quarterback, you can't go away from Jimmy yet. I want Trey Lance to play because I'm one of those guys that like to see the young players succeed. But if I'm a 49er fan and I'm speaking realistically, I don't want Trey Lance in there until I know he's comfortable being back there.
Right.
And he just didn't look comfortable to me. Like until he got into a nice little groove toward the end of the game, he just didn't look comfortable to me.
Okay. So full disclosure, I didn't watch a single play of this game. I didn't get this game on my TV, right?
Yeah.
So I have to give all my information from what I got to our resident San Francisco 49er fan here on the show, Jason. And he said Trey Lance didn't look very well. So I will concede to Jason. So if he says he didn't look very well, and you said wasn't the greatest, didn't look great. Jimmy G, you at least winning with, I'll stick with Jimmy G. I have no problem. People always go, you got to rush the rookie quarterback in and yada, yada, yada. No. I'm the type of person, unless you have nobody at quarterback, I think the rookie should actually sit the first year.
Yeah.
I think it has shown that they learn a lot the first year just watching and getting used to game prep with, film work, nutrition, sleep schedule, weights, knowing the playbook, learning just learning the intricate things of wide receivers and your teammates in general, right? There's a lot of stuff that goes on that isn't just knowing the play, just throwing the ball and making sure it's a catchable ball, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to go on, especially for a quarterback. And I've always said, unless, you're a top 5 draft pick, which I know Trey Lance was, but they traded up to get him, but they already had a quarterback. Unless you don't have a quarterback, you need to let the rookie sit.
Yeah.
Only for a year, right? And after that year, he needs to be playing. And I got no problem with that. So,
I agree.
Yeah, I would go Jimmy G.
Yeah, I agree.
Moving on, Chicago beats the lowless, hapless Detroit Lions. I know I was pretty hard on Justin Fields the last few weeks and saying that he should not be a starting quarterback and that he looked terrible. I will not, I repeat, will not come off that. They played the Lions, people. Let's give it a break. At home, they played the Lions.
Yeah.
Let's give it a break. I want to see him play a team, and a team that actually has a defense, okay?
And
I still don't think he needs to be the starter. Sorry. No. What I saw a few games ago, and I know quarterbacks can get better game by game, and I'm sure he is, he doesn't need to be the starter. Andy Dalton should be the starter of that football team because they can actually make the playoffs, and they're not going to make the playoffs with Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they're going to see a nice little defense coming this week with Vegas. So I'm with you on that. He's not ready. Same situation with Trey Lance in San Francisco. He has no business being on the field, but circumstances says I'd rather not play Nick Foles. So, I mean,
again, though, like I said last week, I would play Nick Foles because I think the head coach is on the hot seat. Maybe I'm wrong, but they do have a lot of talent on that team, and if they don't make the playoffs this year, I've read that he's on the hot seat and that he may be fired. And if that's the case, that's really what's going on. I wouldn't trust it with a rookie quarterback who isn't blowing things up.
I totally agree. Matt Nagy is done, and just looking at how the team's offense looks, every week it makes Mitchell Trubisky look like a better quarterback. And I hate to say it because I was one of those people that said Mitchell Trubisky should not be a top 5 quarterback. But Nagy's not looking good. The Bears have a long way to go, and they're wasting years on that talented defense right now.
Yep. And I like some of their pieces on offense. I like Allen Robinson. I really do. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league.
Yeah.
I think David Montgomery. Now, he's going to be out for about a month now. So we'll see what that does to the offense and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
We'll see. Your game, Washington beats Atlanta. I give the floor to the resident Washington fan.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we, Big Irv versus the people, like to say that Taylor Heineke is not the quarterback. Watching this game, it looks like he's playing pee-wee football and getting lucky.
Okay.
And the first thing that I said, and Jason was there before I got to the group chat, was I like Taylor Heineke, but until he gets tape on him, he's going to get away with murder. And right now he's getting away with murder. His stats are great when you look at it. He's 8th in completions, which it's completion percentage, which is amazing for a guy that wasn't even in the league before the playoffs last year. A lot of the plays that he got away with, who throws across the field and gets a 45-yard touchdown?
Exactly.
Who throws a just air ball and gets lucky that you just so happen to have a top receiver in the league that can go get it?
Yes.
When I was watching the game, and I'm gonna rewatch it as soon as I get off because I always like to record and critique later on my own. But he can't throw outside the numbers. The ball just doesn't get there at a nice speed. When he gets too excited, the ball goes too high.
Right.
I think the talent around him is saving him, especially now that he's getting Curtis Samuel back.
Yeah.
But now you're going to miss Logan Thomas, so that safety blanket is going to be gone for a little while.
Right.
I think De'Ami Brown got hurt, so that's another rookie excitement player that's going to be out for maybe a week or two. I want to support this guy because I know what he can do, and I know what he has done in the past at Old Dominion. But once that tape comes on him and they know what he likes to do, good luck.
Well, the crazy thing for me when you say that though is how many games did he start last year?
Just the playoff game.
Just the playoff game? Okay.
That was it.
And then he's played what, 3 or 4 games so far this year?
This was his third game, his second start.
Okay. So then when I think about I thought that he'd played a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fourth game, third start.
Okay. I thought he played a little bit more last year. So I can see, there may not be there's probably about another 1 game and then people are gonna have enough tape on him. So for some reason I thought he started more than just 1 game last year. And that's why I was like, I thought there was more tape on him. But if the only thing he did last year was the playoff game, which I remember all he did was run the ball almost every play, right?
Just yeah.
Dump down, check down, and run the ball, right? And they almost beat the Patriots or the Bucks.
The Bucks,
beat the Bucks.
And the only other tape that he has is just the fill-in for Cam Newton in Carolina, which was only like 4 or 5 plays.
Okay.
So I mean, the funny thing is, and the one thing that I really need to mention is the overhype for the defense, and I was a part of that train.
100%.
Just looks so bad. It's like they're relying on the first round defensive line to do everything. They're not doing any exotic defenses. They're not doing anything crazy.
4 first round draft picks on that defensive line that started, and they cannot get pressure on the quarterback.
But
they got a few sacks against Ryan, but the Falcons' offensive line sucks. So we knew they were going to get some. They can't get squat against anybody else, and they have 4 first round picks.
But they're not doing anything exotic. Like you don't see any linebacker blitzes, no corner blitzes.
Anybody other than those 4, they're doing no blitzes.
And the crazy thing is, when they actually got to Matt Ryan was when they did something that borderline exotic. They did stunts and did a whole bunch of things like that. But they're just like, all right, we're just going to line up and we're just going to beat your offensive line. You're not going to win like that. You're not going. And then with the corners playing 15 yards away from the receiver, this frustrates me every year that they pay all these corners and guys to just back up and just be like, okay, I'll give you 5 yards and whatever you get after that, you get it.
Yeah. I'm going to come up and tackle you.
Yeah, I want to boost up my tackle stats. Yeah, let's do this.
How about your pass breakup stats? How about your PBUs?
Yeah, listen, this is frustrating as a Washington fan. They do it every year. And then when they win is when they do all the exotic stuff on defense. Like, I'm waiting for Del Rio to decide, like, I got some speed at linebacker. Let me use these guys.
Yeah.
I got some corners that can be sneaky. Let me use some of these guys. Like, you got Landon Collins up at the line, but he's just standing there, like in the middle of the field, like looking lost. Like, he's a good run stuffer. He's a good sneaky blitz guy. Like, throw him at the quarterback every once in a while. Like, give some of these 4 guys up in the front a break every once in a while. Like, I don't know. And then the funny thing is, the most successful guys on that defensive line are not the first rounders. Like, Ioannidis, 3rd round, Tim Settle, 5th round. Like, and then Smith is not undrafted. Like, a lot of these guys are getting more stats than Chase Young and Sweat. Like, I like Jonathan Allen. He's been balling out, but
I think he's got like 3 sacks already.
Yeah.
So tackle, that's really good.
Yeah. And for the Falcons, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say for the Falcons, you needed to win this game. It was a home game against a winnable team.
Yes.
Now you're going to London. Like, who knows how they're going to play? I know they're playing the Jets. I may pick the Jets next week because the Jets at least the Jets won this past week, right? And they looked good.
Yeah,
they have shown improvement every single week. The Jets have. What have the Falcons done?
Nothing at all.
And now they got to fly to London. Who knows what they're going to do, right? Like, they could just be like, our bye week's next week. Let me go take a nap. Give me some fish and chips. Let me go see the whatever's in London Bridge. Like, screw it. Whatever. No one thought we were going to be any good this year. Like, I'm being dead serious. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if the Jets win that game.
I wouldn't either.
Really not. Like, Who do you have that's going to cover Corey Davis? And I'm not saying Corey Davis is a good player, like a fantastic wide receiver, but they ain't got nobody to cover a single wide receiver
At all.
Corey Davis has 3 straight games with 100 yards receiving. Like, Zach Wilson's a decent quarterback as a rookie. They're making decent enough plays. I think the Jets are going to win. I think Atlanta's a top 5 team in the draft again this year.
Well, somebody's got to win that game. So
yeah, it's going to be the Jets. and it's just going to be like, they fly like a jet. Coach is going to come on here with fly like a falcon again, making fun of them because they can't win. And I hate to say it, I like Kyle Pitts and I liked him coming out of college, but you didn't need a tight end at pick number 5 or 6 or whatever pick they were. Yeah. You need an offensive lineman.
It's coming to bite them too. It's coming to bite them too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But when your number 1 corner is a reject from Washington.
Yes, who played special teams for Washington because he wasn't good enough to play defense for the Washington Redskins or the Washington football team. He was the special teams guy, but now he's your number 1 or number 2 cornerback on your team. That says something.
Yes. Oh boy. Yeah. Let's pray for the Falcons. Sorry, Miss Carey.
Something. Yeah. Sorry, Miss Carey.
Jeez.
We're gonna just do a quick. I'm gonna open up the floor to any other football game you want to talk about real quick before we move to college.
So let's just say, Buffalo, thank you for spanking Houston. Actually show that Houston is a bad team.
Because the guy I played in fantasy at Buffalo only got 40 freaking points from their defense. I won by 5 points though.
And I got Buffalo's defense. Thank you, Buffalo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cleveland, you didn't show me anything against Minnesota. The Giants, I wish you'd have lost only because you're in my division. Right. But good win. Thank you for not making the NFC East look totally inept. Tennessee has surprised me. I expected Tennessee to blow out the Jets.
I did too. Even though they didn't have A.J. Brown or Julio, I don't care. You got
to beat the Jets. And it wasn't Derrick Henry's fault whatsoever. I'm just running down real fast. Philly, you wasn't going to beat Kansas City. You gave them a good fight early in the game. I was watching it flipping back and forth.
As close as it was. I'll give you credit for that.
I was flipping back and forth, so I kind of saw that one. Baltimore, I hate what you did to Teddy Bridgewater. And the Chargers in Vegas, I expected a lot more out of that game.
I did too.
It was a fun game. I expected a lot more out of that game.
I don't know if I was disappointed in the game or disappointed in the fact that Eli and Peyton didn't have a commentary because I love listening to those guys. Those were great. I was a little disappointed in that. And can we talk real quick about lightning in a dome?
What was that about? What was that about?
What is that? Are you kidding me? You have a dome, but we had a 30-minute delay for the lightning.
What was that?
What was that? Are you kidding me right now? Who made that ruling?
That was hilarious.
Who screwed up the plans? Who screwed up the design plans on the stadium? What was that?
Is it something we don't know about the stadium or something?
From what I read, there's one little section of the stadium that has like standing room only fans that isn't covered by the dome, and that's what they were worried about. That's what I heard on the radio today. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I never had time to look it up. That's what I was.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and if that's the case, shame on the designer. Real quick before we get to the NCAA, the one game you missed out on is my Bengals win again.
I left it for you. I
know you did. 3-1. I know we beat the lowly Jags, but hey, a win is a win. And we made a comeback because we looked like crap in the first half. We looked absolutely terrible. I thought the Jags were going to beat us, and we made a comeback and won the game. So go Bengals. I'm telling you, I said at the beginning, before the season started, I said, I think we can make the playoffs. I'm sticking by it. I think we can make the playoffs.
It's looking good so far.
NCAA, real quick. 3 top teams lose. Oregon, Florida, Texas A&M, all lose this week. I know this happens every year. Oh, yeah, and shout out to CJ Uzama. 2 touchdowns. North Gwinnett High School alumni. I didn't forget about that, Joe. Go CJ. Uzama. They kept getting his name wrong on the telecast, which pissed me off, by the way. But,
Yeah.
go CJ. Anyway, NCAA. Oregon, Florida, Texas A&M. Which loss was a bigger surprise to you?
Oh, and I was going back and forth about this. At first I was thinking Kentucky, but Kentucky's having a good season this year. Then I was thinking Stanford, but Mississippi State is pretty bad this year. And I know it's an SEC school. I'm going with the Stanford Oregon one.
Okay.
Stanford had no business winning to score a touchdown in the final seconds of the game and then beat them over.
On the last play, yeah.
Like they had no business winning that game. But for Oregon to lay a dud in the overtime,
Absolutely.
That was the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah. I'm going to agree. I'll say I'm not shocked Texas A&M lost.
Yeah.
I actually went into Saturday thinking Mississippi State was going to win because Texas A&M just hasn't played very good this year. I have not been impressed with them at all. I was a little shocked Kentucky beat Florida, but I think Kentucky's a pretty decent team, and it was at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, they keep it close every year. Eventually, they got to win. It was at their place. I was shocked at how much they beat them by because they beat them by like 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wasn't that shocked that they won. I'm going to go with Oregon, too.
Yeah.
Because Oregon was third. They'd already beaten Ohio State at Ohio State, right? Like, they've had some good wins already. At least one good win with that one already this year. Stanford is not that good of a team. They're going to be a 6-6, 7-5 team, I bet, this year. Oregon just shot themselves in the foot because they had a clear path to the college football playoffs. Easily clear path. And I know everyone hates on the Pac-12, but if they would have ran the table and won the Pac-12 undefeated, they would have been in the top 4. And they would have been in the college football playoff. And now I don't think they're going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
Even with just one loss, I don't see it. I'll say the one team this absolutely opened the doors for Cincinnati.
Oh.
Absolutely opened the doors for Cincinnati to make a playoff. All they have to do now is not lose a game, and they're in the college football playoff.
You think so?
I don't care that they play SMU and Tulane and UCF and community college Miami over, right? Like they're gonna make the college football playoff if they win out. They're too high ranked right now. They're number 5 right now.
I know.
And out of the 14, they may be even 4. I think they're 5. Yeah, because it's Bama, Iowa, Penn State, and Cincinnati. Iowa and Penn State play this week. So one of those 2 teams is going to lose, which means Cincinnati's going to jump up to 4.
Yeah, that's I think they're going to do Cincinnati dirty.
I don't. I think because Cincinnati started off so high and they have a quarterback that people know he's in the Heisman race and he's probably going to be a first-round draft pick.
Right.
And they've actually already beaten Notre Dame, which I think is a big deal. And away at Indiana. I know away at Indiana isn't like the greatest thing ever, but they can at least hang their hats on. They've had a few decent wins. I think Cincinnati will be 4, but I think they'll get in. If they go undefeated, they'll get in.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I like that though. I like that.
I got no problem with it.
I don't either.
I want to see a smaller team.
They need it. just for the excitement purposes.
Yeah.
And for some reason they always play well in top bowl games anyway. So
Absolutely.
I agree totally.
Yep. Another team, top 25 team loses. Clemson loses to no, did they lose? Am I wrong on this? They didn't lose. They should have lost. But I think they should have lost to Boston College. They didn't off of a terrible snap. Anyway, but I think they're out of the top 25.
Yeah.
Clemson is obviously having a rough year this year. Do we think this is the end of their ACC dynasty, or do we think this is just like a bump in the road and they're just having a rough year this year?
I want to add the same thing as what I said about the Steelers. This is just a blip in the matrix. They'll be all right back next year.
Yeah.
Recruit class is still outrageously dumb, so they'll be all right next year. It's just a blip.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think they're going to win the ACC this year, but I think this is just a hump in the road, right? I think next year they'll probably win the ACC.
Look, ACC is wide open.
Yeah. Last but not least, Alabama beats Ole Miss by 21. Georgia beats Arkansas by 37. Who had the better win?
Georgia. They exposed Arkansas to be a fraud. Alabama's just going to run through people. They're going to have 3 touchdown win games. It doesn't matter. But everybody had the hype on Arkansas, and for me, that was a better win for Georgia.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I will say, for the fact that Alabama held Ole Miss to 21 points is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that team will put up 30 on just about every other team in the country. So I was impressed with the fact that they were able to hold them to 21. Because even typically when Ole Miss and Alabama play, it's typically like 50 to 40, right? Like
Yeah.
It is a just every team scores on every single possession almost. So the fact that they held them to 21 points, I was very impressed with that. But I think overall, Georgia, even though it was at home, Georgia shutting out Arkansas, who had a lot of momentum. And I think Arkansas is a good team. I don't think they're as good as what everyone says they were, but I think they're a top 25 team, and they shut them out, and they made them look bad. I think it was over in the first quarter.
Yeah.
I threw that game off in the first quarter. That was a bad game. So I'll give it to Georgia, but I would still have Alabama number 1. I don't think you can put Georgia at number 1 until Alabama either loses
or looks bad
by like a field goal or something like that, and it's a nail biter.
Yeah.
They're still kicking the crap out of everybody. So I know Georgia fans are like, how can you not have us number 1? You need to face the fact that Alabama was number 1 going into the season, and they haven't looked bad ever once this year. You're not just going to go over the number 1 team just because you look good too.
Absolutely.
Alabama still looks really, really good. They're going to meet in the SEC championship game, probably both undefeated, and that's going to be the new game of the century, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But everyone's going to watch that game, and if both teams are undefeated, I think both teams will end up actually making the college football playoff.
So another exciting thing is this week's game between those two losers is going to be very interesting. Arkansas and Ole Miss play this week.
They do. Okay.
So that might be juicy. Both teams coming off a loss against top teams.
Yeah.
I might be excited for that one this weekend.
Yeah. I'll say the game I'm really excited. We're going to bring it up next week. Iowa Penn State plays this week at Iowa. What a game that's going to be.
Yeah, this week is going to be
a game that's going to be. Everyone watch out. Friend of the show, Tyler Goodson, Iowa running back. He's killing it this year in the Big Ten. If anyone's not watching, he's killing teams. That's going to be a hell of a game. That's going to be a hell of a game, and the winner of that game is going to skyrocket to favorite in the Big Ten, and will skyrocket to college football playoff team, Final Four college football playoff team.
Easily.
Absolutely.
Easily.
And it's at Iowa, which is a real good place, a fantastic atmosphere. I'm going to take Iowa in that game. Right now, I'm going Iowa just because it's at Iowa. If it was at Penn State, I would take Penn State. But I'll give the home in college. Home field matters. NFL not so much. College matters. I'm going Iowa.
Yeah, I might have to go Penn State on this one. Oh, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah,
That's gonna be exciting.
We know Jay. We know Jay's go Penn State too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Well, it is 9 o'clock on the dot, so that's all we got. We did it. Just the two of us.
We made it.
We made it. On time, too. And we talked about everything on the list.
Yes.
What do you know? Everything on the list got talked about today.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Oh man. Oh, but I want to add one last thing.
Yes.
For all these TV networks, stop putting Maryland up at the top echelon this early in the season. It is not for everybody in this area. I literally live 5 minutes away from University of Maryland. The height level before that Iowa game was so high.
Okay.
And everybody who are true Maryland fans, we were looking at it like, please stop. Please stop. Please stop. And they got the brick every single year, Travis.
They got the crap kicked out of them.
Last year it was Penn State. The year before that, it was Michigan. The year before that, it was Northwestern. Stop it. Just stop. I know they're not going to see this, but I hope they do. Stop it. Because they're even doing it this week when they play Ohio State.
Okay.
Why? Oh!
They got two as your little brother. That's why. They got two as little brother.
And he looks so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to say he looks bad, but he just looks like a regular quarterback.
Yeah, he's like a regular quarterback.
Yeah.
I had to add that. I had to get off the chest.
How's the basketball team going to look this year? Good, bad, or eh?
I don't know. They're keeping a lot of things under wrap.
Okay, because I'm a lifelong Purdue Boilermaker fan. My dad went to Purdue, so I grew up Purdue, and we're going to keep.
All right. All right.
We got two players that can go in the first round of the NBA draft.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I know you're a basketball head.
Yes.
I know you're a basketball head. Jaden Ivey.
Okay. Yep.
Williams.
Okay. I know about Jaden. I know Ivey.
7'3" coming off the bench.
I hate hearing 7'3" guys coming off the bench. That means something ain't right for him not to be starting.
Well, it's because Travion Williams is a senior.
I know.
That's why. And they don't play two big men on that offense. But if Travion wasn't playing, Zach Edey would play. But think about that coming off the bench at 7'3". Yeah. We're gonna be really good this year.
And then Maryland bothers me because they have a 7'4" guy with a 7'10" reach that doesn't play. But that's beyond me. But the recruiting class for Maryland was pretty solid. They got Julian Reese, whose sister actually plays for the women's team, who was a top 5 recruit, and a couple other guys that.
She was.
Both of them. She was number 1. He's number 5.
Okay.
So both. I'm excited for both Maryland men's and women's teams this year. Women always destroy Big Ten. Sorry. But the men should be interesting. They're always ranked high at the beginning of the year.
They are.
You kind of drift
Yep.
once they get that Big Ten ACC game going. But I'm excited to see. But they're kind of keeping a lot of things under wraps. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm super pumped about Big Ten basketball. I love Big Ten basketball. I think it's the best conference in men's basketball by far. I don't think there's a conference that's even close.
ACC.
People say the ACC.
Not anymore.
You got Duke and North Carolina and Virginia, and everybody else stinks.
Yes.
The Big Ten is 10 deep in basketball.
Every
single year. And Purdue, I think, is going to win the Big Ten this year. I think it'll be top 5 team. By the way, women's college basketball, you brought up Maryland. My South Carolina Gamecocks, probably going to be number 1 in the country when the seed polls come out again.
Every year.
Every year, Don Staley kills it. We lost 1 game last year, and it was in the Final Four, and I was pissed. we're coming for blood this year. I'm just letting you guys know. South
All
Carolina.
right.
Women's Final Four for South Carolina. Book it right now.
Not
Already.
hopefully not in UConn.
As long as we don't have injuries, right? As long as we don't have some like mass injury, women's basketball, South Carolina go to the Final Four. Book it.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as they don't play UConn, they're dangerous.
Absolutely. But hey, they beat UConn last year.
They got two young ladies from this area who are a problem. But be crazy.
I know. So I know UConn's always dangerous, but
Yeah.
South Carolina's loaded again. So okay, that's it. I know no one else wants to talk about basketball, so we'll save that for 4 months from now. How about that? So that's it. Thank you, everybody. Joe, my dad, Rico, Curtis, Jay was on here real quick. Tom, hey, if anyone's out there, can we get a score update for the Boston game?
It's
As
still
we're
2.
leaving.
It's still 2-0 after the homer.
2-0. Okay, go Boston. I guess I don't really care.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about baseball playoffs next week because I would like to see Atlanta do something.
Sounds good to me.
We'll see what happens. I think they can beat Milwaukee. I don't think they can beat anybody else, but
They got a good shot.
I think they got a chance against Milwaukee. That's next week. Bye, everybody.
Later.